How's it going, my friends? Are you well? I hope you're well. Scott here from Cookie Cottage with another potato reveal. This time it's in a fabric pot, 30 litre smart pot with an unknown compost. I don't know if it's living green yet. We'll know once we get into it, because I just harvested some and it wasn't the living green. It was my own compost. It was very rough. Big chunks of wood, biochar, and very few worm cocoons compared. But I think the variety is Charlotte or Queens, British Queens, or both. So let's see how we get on. Now, I haven't got the secateurs, so I'm just going to pull these hulls out, and I'll just add them to the hedgerows. There we are. There's a few stuck on that. Let's have a look now actually at what this one is. Now, that's a British Queen. That's great, because I was kind of hoping to get British Queens, to be honest, guys. These potatoes are going to be for gifting, and the ones I've just harvested are Charlotte, so that's absolutely ideal. We'll just pop that into our wee container, and that'll start us off, and I'll just rip the rest of these out now. I've got everything set on some greenhouse polythene, just so that the soil doesn't get mixed into the driveway, you know. Oh, now there's a beauty there. Wee bit of green on it. Actually, this one might have been exposed slightly, or it's just happened. Let's grab this other one, and we'll just pop them in. More hulls to pop out. There, look, you can see they were really finished. I just hadn't lifted them yet, so I didn't need them, you know. That's the beautiful thing about growing your own, guys. You can just harvest exactly when you want them, you know. And the best thing with potatoes is you can just leave them in the pot. So there we are. We'll lift these ones out that are at the top here. There's another one with green. Now, guys, there's a great example of what I would use as a seed potato for next year. You see that? Great size. It's got the green on it. Saves me cutting it off. You're thinking, well, how are you going to keep that till next year, Scott? Well, you could leave them in your pot, you know, till next year, or you could put them into another pot with compost. But how I like to do it is to store them in worm castings, and they just stay absolutely perfect till next year. Worm castings or compost, absolutely ideal. But if you're wondering how I store my seed potatoes till the next year, that's how I do it. Okay, my friends, pop that in there. Another one with a wee bit of green on it. Nice bit of green. There's one there, look. Now, that's a Charlotte. That has green on it. But it's a lovely potato, isn't it? So it looks like we've got a combination of both Queens, British Queens, and Charlotte in this pot. Now, will I use this one as a seed potato? Probably not. It is quite large, guys. I'll probably just cut that off and eat it. But anyway, enough of me ganching on about all that kind of stuff. Let's topple this over and see how we get on. Oh, they're just spilling out. Now, I have done a particularly poor job this year, guys, of watering. I'm going to be honest with you. So, you know, hit me a smack on the back of the hands. But now there's a nice worm. And that is, let me see. Oh, don't want to hurt him. That is an earthworm. Do you see him? See the way he's got the flat tail? Like a paddle, nearly. We'll put him in. We'll put him in underneath the raspberries. He'll be fine in there. I'll pull this pot off and we'll see how we get on with this harvest. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Now, just for a bit of context, these potatoes were started off in the polytunnel, guys. Brought outside before the risk of frost had passed, and then got hit by frost. My fault again. Yep, terrible grower this year for sure. But they came back. There was enough energy in the seed potato, and they did a really good job, and they grew right the way there until you could see how kind of finished they were. But anyway, that's how we get on. Oh, I'll just mention as well, it doesn't look like it's the living green compost. I can just see wee things like bits of wood and stuff, and that gives me an indication that it's my homemade compost, and it'll be quite rough. The living green is a very finished, fine compost, ideal for starting seeds actually. This one will have chunks of, like the one that I just harvested here had like biochar there. You can just see another big chunk of wood. There was actually quite a lot of big chunks of wood. I was surprised it didn't affect the grow. But anyway, enough of me catching on. There we are. Now that's them. There we are. Beautiful queens. You've probably heard me say this many times, but they're like little pebbles. Beautiful, beautiful. There's a seed potato. Let's have a look. Completely finished. Breaking down, and it's got some insects in it. Pretty cool. We'll just throw that into the hedgerow, and the microbes and the insects can finish that off. There we are, guys. There's some more wood. So yeah, not the best compost, you know, in terms of, I think it was stuff that was pretty much finished, and I just decided to use it for the potatoes. as a way to kind of finish it off nearly, to be honest. This is going to be ideal organic material to put back on the land here. Now, there's not too many in that section there. There's one. Beautiful. Pop them in. There we one. And there's a big chunk of wood there. Gosh, how did I get away with something that size in the pot, guys? That's certainly not the Living Green compost. You would never find anything like that in the multi-purpose compost from them. But anyway, no complaints, just pointing out to you, you know, so you know exactly what the crack is. There we go. Another wee one. I'm really happy with these guys. Really happy. So far now. Now the compost is particularly dry as well. And that's my fault again, guys. Just terrible watering, you know. Just didn't keep on top of it. Was relying on rainwater, and the smart pots dry out pretty quickly, and with the wind and the dry weather you'd nearly need to be on it, you know, really quite well to keep it perfect. But luckily we've got no scabs, so I think I've done a reasonable job, and it's just towards the end I've kind of slacked off, if that makes sense. There we are. There's another wee one. Bring this over, and if I come over this side you can see they just kind of spilled out there at the top. That's a nice one. And again, give this a shake. Of course there's nothing in that entire section, but that must have been where the roots were, look, filled with roots. Look at that, guys. Gosh, I'm really quite embarrassed at this compost, to be honest, but it is what it is. And here the plants did well. Didn't they just? There we are. Gosh, guys, this is looking like a really nice yield, to be honest with you. They're coming out so clean. How are you getting on yourself this year with your potatoes? We've been, like, to be honest, guys, it's been ideal for growing potatoes. There was only a few days where it got really, really hot. And we've had ample rain as well, so no excuses. Now there's a nice Charlotte. Beautiful. That's a nice potato. Lovely. Small British Queen. Wee baby now. There's a wee chunk of biochar. See that? So, certainly the homemade compost and not the Living Green. Really, really pleased to see this. Really, really pleased. Now, whenever I say it was rough compost and I was quite embarrassed, guys, don't get me wrong, it's still a good compost. It's just not, you know, like a finished product. Like you're pulling out big twigs and stuff, do you know what I mean? You wouldn't really want that normally when you're using it, if that makes sense. But with potatoes, you can kind of get away with it, I think. There we are. Another seed potato. And I would say there was 3 seed potatoes in this pot, which I think somebody commented in one of the recent videos to say I should always let you know how many seed potatoes. I do apologise. I try to mention everything, and I also try to repeat myself, but sometimes I just forget, you know. But there would have been 3 potatoes in this, and it's kind of, the way I do it is kind of like, that's a beauty, isn't it? Like 1 per 10 litres. Does that make sense? Roughly. If I had a 200 litre pot, I wouldn't put 20 seed potatoes in it. Well, I might actually if they were that size or smaller. Maybe not that many, but you get the picture. There we go. Really pleased with this, guys, and even though it's not the nicest looking compost at the end, it's certainly going to be ideal for putting back on the land here and just adding organic material. Beautiful. So, oh, now there's a nice little section that obviously had Charlotte in it. Let's grab these. Guys, this is really quite a good yield. Now I never ever weigh the potatoes. For those of you that have been following my potato reveals for the last 8 years or so, I know there's a load of years missing, but you'll know that I never weighed them. I never found it important, but something is popping into my head to weigh these. Because I weighed, like, I'll be honest with you, I weighed the last pot and I was absolutely blown away. So what's that? That's a little stone. Just throw that back in the driveway. Now, I think that's it, my friends. Oh, do apologise, there's a little bit of plastic that's pulled out now. That's just the way it is, sometimes that happens. Okay, my friends, look at that. What do you reckon? That is a nice haul of potatoes. I wonder, could I grab the scales quickly? guys, bear with me. They're quite close, and we'll give these away. I know my videos are terrible, and thank you so much if you've stuck with me up until this point. It's a bit of a bonus really, because I never weigh the potatoes. I never have. I've just never really been that interested, but for some reason it came into my head. So let's have a look. Oh, they're not. I thought they were here. There's the bucket, or the container I was going to use. No, where are they? Yeah, guys, apologies for this, but it's worth it. Let's find them. I'm drying out some wine cap there. I lifted a few beetroots. I'm gifting some vegetables to somebody that's coming around tomorrow, and I wanted to harvest them, fresh. It's just a little wine cap drying upside down in the sun. Concentrates the vitamin D levels. Are those nice, the beetroot? Those are the Pablo F1. Tell you what, guys, I'm going to leave you with the beetroot. I'm just going to go and grab these scales. I'll be literally 10 seconds. I know it's a bit weird for a video, but sure, you know me. Back in a second. Yeah, still in that here. 2 minutes. There we are. So I've got these little bacon scales. They should be fine. They worked for the last one. I can't imagine it's going to overload it. The only thing is, guys, we've got to weigh them on top of something flat, which, considering everything's on a slight slope, isn't that easy. But this tree stump just sits perfectly flat, so that should work. Right, it's got this little tray. Set that on top, and we'll zero it down so it's nice and fair and even, and it's in grams at the minute, so you guys can help me out with that. And we'll grab these bits and pieces. Now, it's a reasonable weight, but I can lift it with my left hand, so I'm not sure. Now we've got this plant pot that I'm going to use to put the potatoes in to go on top of the scales, guys, so we'll give that away and see what it weighs first. 252 grams. What's that, about 9 ounces? Okay, we'll lift that off. -2 it says. We'll just, oh, back to 0. Okay, and then we'll pop these potatoes in. Just tip that in there. Sorry about the noise, guys. Oh, this does feel quite hefty. I'm going to set this on top. Here we are now. What's that? 2,752. That's kind of handy, because we'll take away the 252 for the pot, and that'll give us roughly 2,500 grams. Would you agree with me, guys? Am I saying this right? What's that? 2.5. That's 2.5 kilos. So that's like what? 5 pounds of potatoes, something like that. Guys, I'm really pleased with that. It's really good. Not that I care about the weight, but just in my mind, I would have probably said 4. Just gonna give it one more go, just in case I've made a mistake. Set that on top. Nope, pretty much the same. It's moving around there slightly. Now the wind's blowing. I wonder if that's what's making it do that. That's kind of settling on, or is it? Yeah, it's kind of moving in and around there, isn't it, guys? But we've got a rough idea. I'd say that's pretty good. That'll do. We'll leave it there, my friends. It's not often you get to see the weight of the potatoes, but hopefully that'll be appreciated by some of you. And tell you what, if a lot of you guys like the idea of knowing exactly what the potatoes weigh, I know a lot of people do that. I can make an extra effort and weigh them. So let me know in the comment section if you'd like to know the weights of the potatoes rather than just a visual and a guess from me. Okay, my friends, hope you're having a wonderful day. Sending lots of love. All the best.